huge surprise here. But I'm so, here's the thing.
I'm nervous about this one.
Ryan is legit nervous about this one. And this is something we've actually talked about before on the show, which is what's funny.
Have we?
We've definitely dabbled in this conversation, but we haven't gone all in because we're like, we're not a show that's talking about politics. Who gives a crap what Bleeding Cool is riffing on? And you know, I love Bleeding Cool. Don't get me wrong, but we're not doing commentary on Bleeding Cool like, oh my gosh, you know, call the comic police, you know, kind of stuff, right? No, we're not doing any of that.
The comic police.
I don't know. Coming up with stuff.
That's a new show idea.
I know. Put your hands up.
Comic cops.
Comic cops.
Yeah.
There we go. No, and it's kind of fitting when we're talking about this, but like, you know, without going too far into it, we're talking about Punisher today. Yes. And this book is going to get people to dislike this clip just because we're talking about Punisher. I find that hilarious. The reason why I find it hilarious is because Marvel pulled a fast one on so many damn people. Like legit. This book, I'll tell you, there was a time during the comic boom of 2020. That's one thing, or 2020 to 2021, and then all of 2021. Now we're kind of like leveling out a little bit, but it's still looking good. There was a point where Punisher didn't have an ongoing series. And there was a lot of PR issues with the Punisher, specifically prior to this comic ever being solicited, and what would be the change in his emblem as a result. Or so people thought. And I would hit the mic routinely to talk about the, you know, Amazing Spider-Man 129. And a lot of the commentary on 129 was happening because of the comic boom, but also happening because of the lack of comics that were coming out that included the Punisher. There was a point where people thought the Punisher was not going to come back. I didn't think that, but people were talking about it like that. So people are scooping up Punisher keys. Is this a legacy character that's going to be gone? Are we ever going to see him on the screen again?
I mean, especially when you consider the screen aspect, right? He had 2 seasons of his own show, and that wasn't that long ago. Nope. I think it was like 2018, 2019. It was one of the later Netflix shows.
But people legit were hypothesizing that they would take over the Netflix Defenders and not bring over Punisher.
I mean, that makes sense, especially if Disney's going to take him over. Disney and this character don't really kind of, you know, combine in that sense. Right. Plus, John Bernthal, the actor, you know, he's gone on to do so many cool things.
Right.
You know, going back to a comic book role, maybe, you know, I don't know what they're going to do with him. Maybe they'll just recast him. Maybe they'll not even, we didn't know what was going to go on with the Netflix Disney shows and whether or not they were going to get picked up and continued. And
right.
It makes sense. But also, Punisher was in the news, the actual news,
yes,
you know, for reasons. And so it made sense to kind of let him sit for a while. And now they're bringing him back. We are 3 issues into a new Punisher series.
Everyone needs to put this on their pull list. This right here is done by Jason Aaron. We have, it looks like shared credit for artists. I'm imagining it's the flashbacks that are being done by different artists. I could be wrong about that.
I think you're right. Yeah, it's definitely 2 different styles.
Yeah. Gabriel Ibarra. It was Jason Aaron and Jesus Says and Paul Azaceta.
There you
That's
go.
how you say it. So Marvel was probably laughing at the internet throughout this entire damn time. I'm just going to say it.
A lot of mainstream news about the Punisher logo.
It was like world ending. Oh my gosh. When people saw that the Punisher logo was changing, right, they thought that Marvel was submitting to, you know, some type of progressive leaning that would ruin the character. And oh, was everyone freaking wrong. Trust in Jason Aaron.
Yeah.
Absolutely wrong.
Jason Aaron's one of my favorite writers.
How come there's so much commentary on the prior, and we're 3 issues in, and I have heard nothing about this comic book? They were wrong. What did you say they were wrong? I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a full change. Maybe Frank Castle has ditched his emblem forever, even though they're showing it in this comic book because he's put it aside. Even though he is now a worse Punisher, arguably, with the new logo on it that you would never want to put on if you were a superhero, because he is going layers further as the Punisher. He's like a crime boss murderer. He was a murderer before. Now he's an organized crime boss murderer. This is worse.
A little worse.
The new logo is worse when you actually think of the parameters of why he's wearing it.
A worse situation. Yeah.
No one saw that coming. No one did.
I mean, it's easy to read the headlines that, oh, they're changing the logo and that's it, but you don't look into what they're changing it to or what the reasoning is or what's going on in the story, which I think is actually really fascinating and a really cool direction to take him in.
Some of the worst, excuse me, let me rephrase that. Some of the best character development for a character I didn't know I needed. I really didn't. I would have been happy with whatever, like with this route, but there is an added narrative here that's giving you insight to Frank Castle's past, totally retconning stuff. We all thought that Frank Castle became the Punisher when his family was killed. Maria. All right, but that's not what happened. This started when he was like a kid. This is the kind of kid you don't want your kids to hang out with because he was killing people in Captain America pajamas. Similar to Captain America, he wore pajamas as a superhero costume, if you didn't know that. There's some layers of comic book stuff here that's so damn good.
Your brain is
Frank
on fire
Castle
today.
is wearing Captain America outfits as a kid, killing people and lighting them on fire in his youth.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite issue of this run so far. We're 3 issues in, and there's a whole flashback sequence in issue 3 of his first kill was actually when he was 10 years old. So you kind of, you realize that, like, as horrible as this event was with him losing his family in an act of gun violence, Frank Castle was kind of a lost cause, like, right from the beginning. As a child, he was a murderer.
Right. He was a murderer. Look at this. The life of Frank Castle, all the killing, all the gun use. He's kind of a lone wolf, really. I mean, he's somebody who knows that there only needs to be one of them. He would probably want to fight the other person to try to do what he's doing because he knows that it's not good. And this is a narrative that gives him the one thing that would put him in a position to expand his efforts to enact vengeance. He's essentially leading a group of insane psychopathic ninjas and killing everyone in their wake.
Punisher is one of those characters that I never really bothered to read before. Like Ghost Rider is another one that's in that category, so I don't know a whole lot about either of those characters, really.
Right. It's insane, man. We talked about Ghost Rider in the last few weeks. Some tropes. Some of these are tropes. Yeah, I get it. But like some of these tropes, you don't realize are needing to be attached to ongoing characters, legacy characters. Ghost Rider totally hit me out of like, it's just out of nowhere. Fantastic.
With how good it was.
With how good it was.
Yeah.
You know, Punisher just made that list.
Carnage.
just
Marvel's doing
made that
some
list.
really good stuff right now.
Wow.
Like surprising to me anyway.
Okay, so we're not going to dive too deep into Punisher, but what I do want to tell you is read all 3 issues. You are going to be excited. You're going to laugh at the media coverage of all of 2021. You're going to laugh.
I like his new logo, man. I think it's pretty cool looking.
I like it now more than ever because if you say that you don't like the design, it means that you don't like the way it looks. And guess what? This comic is all about why you shouldn't like this version of Frank Castle. It's brilliant. Marvel literally got you to do what they wanted. You don't like it? Good, because this is the bad logo. Not bad because it looks wrong. No, it's because Frank Castle is doing things he shouldn't be doing. He literally has to be enticed to such an extent that he is messing with like sorcery in this comic book.
Yeah. The hand is up to some weird stuff. I don't know if we're spoiling issue 1.
No, we're not. We can get into it. He is leading the hand.
Have we even showed that yet? There's there's a panel of him like with swords and his cool I just think it's cool. It's a cool direction to take him in.
Let's give you a little taste here, but the idea of the logo not being something to your liking is less about the design and more about what it represents. And that's the brilliance of what Jason Aaron has just laid out for the comic fam here. So, of course, Frank Castle, new logo, and he is using swords now. He's getting trained to be a more ruthless killer. This issue number 1 is called The King of Killers. And he is being described as the High Slayer of the Hand, who is a assassin group, and they worship literally a demonic beast, and they want to sacrifice to him. It's a very bad group, which is why it's the antagonist of Daredevil, you know?
Yeah, the Hand are not good guys.
Nope.
Like, I don't think anybody's going to tell you that. And to see Frank Castle in charge of them, he is not a good person.
This right here is exactly the moment where you go, oh, wait a minute. We're not supposed to like this logo for reasons that for the last year and a half, people have been saying we shouldn't like this logo. Brilliant. So I'm not showing much of the comic, but I will show you the reveal of issue number 1 because some people may go, how do you get Frank Castle to do this. This is not a Frank Castle that would make this decision.
He would much, if they came to him and were like, yo, we want you to be in charge of our ninja group, he'd blow your brains out basically and go on his own.
He would add you to his list.
He's a lone wolf.
Yeah, he would try to end that. That's his job. He looks at it like it's his responsibility, you know? But the Hand, dealing with sorcery, basically pulled a Pet Cemetery, and what you're seeing on the screen, Comic Fam, is him at the end of the day, after leading this charge, killing so many people, perfecting his ninja skills, leading the Hand, an organization that's terrible, a terrorist organization, essentially. We have Maria, Maria. How is she alive? The Hand has made her.
His dead wife has been like reanimated or something.
Reanimated, resurrected. This right here is the promise that if he does what he's doing, he may get his family again. And we're getting flashbacks, an origin story that's being retconned because he has, as mentioned in this video, been doing Punisher types of stuff since he was a kid. This is going to be a second printing cover.
The second printing of issue 3 is going to have this image from the inside on the cover, which I love. This shot of him, like, he kills a guy when he's a kid. There's a whole reason, but this issue 3 gets into it. And he's on the rooftop overlooking the guy's, like, smoldering corpse down below, and the smoke trailing past him leaves a skull design kind of imprinted over his black shirt here, which I think that's awesome.
How did Frank Castle become the Punisher's a focus of so many of these narratives? But this is how he became the ruthless killer that he is. So that when he went full Punisher, it was as extravagant as it was, and why he became the hero he did, or
in my mind,
anti-hero.
Also, when I see this image, I am reminded of the flashbacks from The Godfather Part 2 with Robert De Niro. Maybe that's just me, but
no, I think it's there.
The murdering on the rooftop and the whole flashback thing and the old timey vibe.
Oh,
it combines.
How he kills. Yeah, he does his first kill. The other thing that I'll also point out is that there is a very interesting narrative developing in why Frank Castle is of interest to the Hand. Because you know that they're not just doing this because they need a new leader. No, they're developing something. They think that he is someone important. There's like some low-key Paimon hereditary stuff going on here.
Yeah, we're bringing it back yet again.
We have to every single time.
Every single time.
Marvel absolutely pulled a fast one on every single person who complained. Oh my goodness, I'm glad I didn't complain myself. Let me know in the comment section. Blow it up. You guys are going to be pissed at me. I get it. Hit the like and subscribe while you're down there.
It'll be a fun one.